reliable user data. TikTok has about 500 million active users worldwide and has previously said they do not store U.S. data on Chinese servers. The lawsuit goes on to allege the data could be used to identify, profile, and track users in the U.S.
As the digital world continues to grow, it becomes more and more important that we educate ourselves about it. The Glassroom Art Exhibition is an interactive intervention that discovers all the sides of the digital world that we don't know but should know. I got the chance to visit it and have all the information for you that you need.
The Glassroom exhibition is an interactive intervention that has more than 50 pieces of art that raise awareness for issues in the constantly growing digital world. They cover topics like how political ads on the internet influence us, what happens to the tabs we delete, if our face is already in the international face recognition system, or if our passwords was one of the million LinkedIn passwords that got stolen in 2012. For the face recognition art piece, for example, I just had to stand in front of the camera and the computer tried to find out if my face was already in the system. Luckily, my face isn't in the system yet. However, other people who visited the exhibition in the past were less lucky. Eric Brennan is one of the visitors here in San Francisco and is just as fascinated by the exhibition as I am.
I think what surprised me the most so far is how much of this stuff is happening automatically all the time without even realizing that it's, that kind of app that, for example, anything that's taking your picture might be mapping your face, might be tracking your emotions, things like that. I found that interesting.
The non-profit organization Tactical Tech started the project in 2016, and already over 130,000 people got the chance to visit one of the Glassroom exhibitions that were already in Berlin, London, and New York. Co-founder of Tactical Tech, Marek Tusinski, explains the goals of this project.
For us, it's not about safety, really. It's about understanding your agency in the digital world. So how much power do you have as an individual, really, and what's hidden behind the technology you're using, who have access to your data information, but also who is defining future based on that information.
The Glassroom exhibition shows us all the sides about the digital world that we don't know but should know. But what do the visitors think about the exhibition, and does it change the way they think about and handle the digital world?
Eric Brennan tried many of the art pieces himself and discovered a lot of things about himself, his device, and the electronic world that he didn't know.
It shows, things you hear about. We've all heard about data mining, invasions of our privacy, being tracked, but here you can see how it happens. It's sort of difficult to use the apps and services you want to use and escape all of this tracking, so I don't know if it will change my behavior.
The exhibition here in San Francisco ended on November 2nd, but smaller versions come to all kinds of schools and libraries. If you're interested in how you can better handle the constantly growing and changing electronic world, you should go to one of the exhibitions. But besides that, you can also go visit Tactical Tech's website and explore their project called the Data Detox Kit. It gives you all kinds of tips and tricks and educates you about the electronic world. Here in San Francisco, Picaro Reinhold for your Urban Edge Update.
The visit was more than worth it, and I can only encourage you to educate yourself more about the digital world. The new case about the California Department of Motor Vehicles is a perfect example for how valuable our data is. According to Vice, the DMV sells its customers' data for millions of dollars. The report shows that it collected about $50 million a year since 2015 by providing registration and license data to various businesses. But DMV is defending itself and says that the Vice article is incorrect and that only certain groups, like insurance companies, can seek the data.
Over $58 billion. That is how much money was spent over 174 million shoppers between Black Friday and Cyber Monday. According to the National Retail Federation, that is about $335 per person. Millennials were the biggest spenders, shelling out almost $420 per person. Of the 174 million people, 116 million of them actually went out and spent money in stores. It looks like the times between Black Friday and Cyber Monday were a complete success. Mayhem in Emeryville, California. What you're seeing is security camera footage of the assault on an off-duty CHP officer. It happened at the Bay Street shopping area. The officer was trying to help a woman who said a group of teens had taken her phone. He stepped in once the teens became aggressive towards the alleged victim. The officer was then surrounded when he attempted to run away and was eventually knocked unconscious. The officer never drew his weapon during the fight. So far, 2 arrests have been made, a 14 and a 16-year-old. It's called maximum enforcement. At least that's what the California Highway Patrol is calling the period from the day before Thanksgiving through Sunday, December 1st. During the first 30 hours of maximum enforcement, there are over 300 arrests made just for possible DUIs. During the same time frame, 8 people were killed in collisions. Maximum enforcement is when CHP increases patrols on roadways to increase safety.
This past weekend, Michigan became the most recent state to legalize recreational marijuana. Now anyone of the age 21 with a valid state ID can purchase marijuana from a licensed retailer. Michigan is the 10th state to fully legalize the plant. However, Michigan health officials have put a temporary ban on vaping devices with the drug as they investigate vaping-related lung illnesses. Holiday season giving you a headache? A new study conducted by Washington State University tells us that marijuana helps with headaches and migraines. The study shows that it can reduce pain caused by headaches and migraines by just over 47% and 49%. It also indicated that the drug had a greater effect when it was prescribed in the concentrated form such as cannabis oil. California and other states have legalized recreational marijuana, and the country is continuing to trend in that same direction. What are the health benefits using marijuana provides? Thomas Delgadillo found out more.
Medical marijuana has been used for many years now, and as states continue to legalize it, what are reasons people use marijuana besides just to get high? Haley, a Southern California nurse, tells us.
So medical marijuana may not be right for every single patient, but it's appropriate for some patient populations.
According to Harvard Medical University, medical marijuana is impossible to overdose and is far less addictive. It is also safer for your kidneys, unlike Advil or Aleve. Along with that, marijuana is a great muscle relaxant. It is also known to help with tremors for people who have Parkinson's disease. As the country continues to debate over legalizing marijuana federally, Haley talks about the positive of the drugs.
So some patient populations that may benefit from medical marijuana include cancer patients, epilepsy patients, and chronic pain patients. So cancer patients, it's good for a lot of them, from my experience, because a lot of them have loss of appetite and nausea, and a lot of the medications, like anti-nausea medications, stop working on patients. So it could help make them hungry again. It helps curb their nausea. And then for epilepsy patients, it's shown that it stops seizures in some epilepsy patients that have never ever had a medication work on them before. So that works for their population. And then chronic pain patients, as we're steering towards going away from opioids, it's a good alternative for chronic pain patients, especially with super addictive personalities, because it's been shown to not be as addictive as pain pills or opioids.
As medical marijuana can be a helpful drug for some patients and states continue to legalize it themselves, only time will tell if the U.S. will legalize it federally. For now, I'm Thomas Delgadillo, and this was your Urban Nights Update.
Illinois will become the 11th state in the U.S. to legalize marijuana in 2020, another step closer to federally legal marijuana.
Another tragic death strikes the NFL community. George Atkinson III died last night at the age of 27, approximately 1 year after his twin brother Josh's suicide. George had recently opened up about his struggles and feelings towards the matter in his new book, How I Turned My Losses into Lessons. George was suffering and wrote that when he lost his brother, he had felt like he'd lost everything. It is not clear yet what the cause of death is, but investigators continue to search for answers. 19,000. That's how many buildings were destroyed last year in the Paradise wildfire. This year, Paradise is making the news again, but this time for its high school football team. At a school where almost every player and coach lost their homes, a 2019 football season looked out of reach. However, these players were determined to play, and not only did they dominate this season, but they will compete for the North Coast Section title this Saturday. Many people have moved away because of the fires, even came back to support and keep the town united. Keeping with sports, we have Justin Summers with your Urban Knights update.
Academy of Art University's athletics are back in action. And here on your Urban Knights Sports Update, we'll bring you all the top ArtU athletics news. While the women's volleyball season has come to an end, they still had a great season overall, with plenty to remember. Teammates Carly Evitz and Ashley Pollock share some insight about what to look forward to and what aided in their success this season.
It was cool to win somewhere where you feel like secure. We have our crowd here and stuff, and it was a good win to kind of set us off to Hawaii. So I think we're going to do good things next week.
I've played the position before, freshman year, and I'm familiar with the position, and it's just going back with the defense position or like the spots. Just got a muscle memory, and just stuck with it, and it works, and I like it. So.
Me and Kobe have a really, really good connection, which is always good. Like, she can feel where I'm going before I even say anything, and we have like 6 different plays that we can hit, so we just mix it up, and the block really can't stay with us. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's so much fun. Our setter's amazing.
With great play comes recognition, as 2 of our Urban Knights managed to snag all Pac West second team honors. Middle blocker Carly Evitz, who led the entire team in kills, and middle blocker Jillian Wheaton, who was top 5 in the Pac West in hitting percentage, received these awards. This past week, men's basketball hasn't had the best of luck, losing their 3rd straight game and bringing them to a 2-4 record on the season. Last Wednesday, the men's played against Chico State for their first home game of the season and had a tough loss, despite some outstanding performances. Junior guard Stefan Milivojevic dropped a career-high 31 points on the night, including a 5 for 7 shooting from behind the line. He also managed to rack up 4 rebounds, 1 steal, and 1 block on the night. Another standout performance was from junior guard Kai Tees. He added his own 18 points to bring the team closer, but they still came up short. With these 2 excellent performances, Stefan Milivojevic and Kai Tees earned themselves spots as this week's Urban Knights Athletes of the Week. Stay tuned because their next game is this Thursday as they head down to Fresno Pacific. As college athletes finish their 4 years of competition for their school, not all finish in the classroom. Thomas Delgadillo sat down with a former Academy of Art baseball player to talk about the 5th-year program these athletes are offered.
Hi, I'm here with Mason Verhees, an MPT major and a 5th-year senior at the Academy of Art. Hey Mason, how are you?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for being here. So what is MPT exactly?
So MPT stands for Motion Pictures and Television, and they have different kind of routes you can take that. You can do directing, editing, cinematography, producing, and I think there's a couple more. But my focus is cinematography, so that's basically like being behind the lens and dealing with lighting and everything that ends up on the screen. So,
are you working on anything right now? Any projects you're doing?
Yeah, so I'm actually in this documentary class, and I'd already finished one project earlier this year, and it was just like a 1-minute, 60-second portrait about the fires up in Paradise, and it was kind of just to see how Paradise was doing. It was 11 months later after the big fire they had last year. And then, so my final for that class is actually going to be a documentary about my friend who's a big wave surfer.
Okay.
And he lives out of a van as well. So it's kind of a cool story. But there's going to be some surf this weekend in Mavericks in the Half Moon Bay, and I'm going to go get some shots over there, so that'll be exciting.
So you surf yourself then, and talking about surfing?
Yeah, I do. I grew up in San Diego. You know, it's really easy to get into surfing down there. My dad was a big surfer. I don't even remember learning how to do it. I've just always surfed. So, yeah, it's part of my life for sure.
So you were a 5th-year senior here this year. You played 4 years of Academy Art baseball. What is it like being in the 5th-year program here?
It's a good way to stay involved for people that aren't in their sport anymore. You know, I get to see people that I grew through this program with that are still playing on teams and stuff, and then other 5th years that were here when I was a freshman and when they were freshmen as well. So, you know, it's cool, and it's good to like give back. You know, I spent 4 years here. You know, it's my time to do this now. So,
now with the 5th-year program, are you required to do any type of work with it?
It's mainly just helping out at events. shagging balls, doing, taking some photos, filming some parts of the game, but just kind of wherever they need you. So we just work in the games just to help out.
Okay, and then you'll be wrapping it up and graduating this fall,
Yep.
Suppose.
If it goes as planned, I'll be done in May. So I'm excited. Move back down to San Diego after this for sure, but excited to be done.
Well, you enjoy that surf down here. I'm here with Mason Verhees, a fifth-year senior and an MPT major, and he just shared a little bit of light on that type of major. Thank you so much for being here, and good luck with your final projects.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
And we'll be back to you.
If you'd like to keep up with your Urban Knights sports, download the ArtU Athletics app available on Apple and Android. That's all for your Urban Knights sports update. I'm Justin Summers. Back to you.
The Pac-West Conference is the only conference in the Division II with 3 Hawaiian teams, and that makes our own volleyball team really happy because they get to fly to Hawaii every year and get to compete against 3 strong teams on one of the most beautiful islands in the world. Here's how this year's trip went.
Every year, the volleyball team of the Academy of Art University gets to fly to Hawaii and play 3 Hawaiian teams: Hawaii Pacific, Chaminade, and UH Hilo. This year the team arrived on the island Oahu with a great feeling because they just won their last 2 games against Holy Names and Notre Dame de Namur. And on top of that, they had 2 free days at the beginning of the trip. Zoe Kister, who is on Hawaii for the first time in her life, is happy that she gets to experience this trip.
Yeah, I've never been to Hawaii before, and it's really cool. It's a really cool experience, and I'm really glad we have 2 days off before we start actual playing and practicing because we get a lot of free time to spend with the team, and it's a lot of fun.
After these 2 days, the team got straight back to business and played their first game against Hawaii Pacific. Even though they won the first set, the team ended up losing the game 1-3. Head coach Alan McCreary knows the reason why they lost.
We played really well the first set. I thought we went out and competed, and we played well as a team, as overall. And then we kind of just the next 3 sets, we kind of just faltered down. Some kids made some errors, and they kind of got to them.
The team didn't have much time to rest because they played another tough match against the strong team of Chaminade the next day. After they lost the first set, they came back strong and won the second set 25-10. But Chaminade was too consistent and won the game 3-1.
On Friday, the team flew to the Big Island first thing in the morning to play UH Hilo on Saturday as the last game of the season. Selena Davidson remembers exactly what happened here in Hilo last year.
Last year, Hilo was our first stop and we weren't as prepared, so we didn't play as well. But this time, it's our last stop of the trip, so hopefully we play a little better and we're more prepared for what's to come.
This year, the team also struggled at the beginning and lost their first 2 sets. But they came back and worked hard to win the next 2 sets. However, in the end, they couldn't finish it and lost to Hilo 2-3. Now the season is over and head coach Alan McCreary already looks forward to next year.
We brought in 6 new players, and you guys meshed very well, and which is a good thing for us because we don't graduate anyone, so we return all 14 players, and then we'll end up adding probably 2 or 3 more to get our whole puzzle put together, and we'll be able to compete for the championships next year in Pac-West.
The team is just as excited for next year as their head coach, and they believe that they can achieve a lot. Here in Hawaii, Picabo Reinhold for your Urban Knights update.
It is holiday season, and that means spending time with your loved ones next to the cozy fire watching holiday films. Netflix wanted to share the Christmas spirit by adding holiday-themed content for you. The movies Let It Snow, Klaus, and The Night Before Christmas are just a few of the movies you can watch. But make sure to watch them all soon because Netflix has decided to take out lots of beloved titles before the end of the year. As we presumed, the streaming wars have begun. President Trump's re-election could pose a threat to the streaming giants, but looks like Disney is going to come out with the win. Although Netflix isn't going anywhere and has over 300 million households worldwide, Disney Plus attracted more than 10 million subscribers in its first day. In a couple weeks, we will see if Disney Plus is still on top. Speaking of Netflix, cutting the cord has become the trend of saying goodbye to your cable provider and switching to streaming your favorite shows and movies. But what is drawing people to these new subscription-based streaming services, and will it last? I decided to take a closer look and learn more about cutting the cord.
Streaming has become the #1 way to watch your favorite TV shows and movies. More and more people are cutting the cord and saying goodbye to cable. Savannah talks about why she made the switch.
I like Netflix because it's easier in terms of finding the TV show you want, and there are no ads. The ads thing is my favorite part because then you don't have to listen to that. There are more options, and everything is there at your fingertips rather than you have to wait for your favorite show to come on.
According to the Convergence Research Group, currently 4.5 million people have opted out of a cable subscription in the U.S. This graph shows how the trend is changing. The blue line represents cable TV subscriptions, and the red line represents the estimated number of streaming households. By 2020, the number of streamers will almost double.
But with so many different streaming services, there is no longer one place to go to find all your favorite shows. If this trend continues, some fear that you could end up paying twice as much for subscriptions than you would a normal cable box. Patrick has been an avid streamer, but is finding it hard to justify paying for all these subscriptions.
I think the problem comes from cable being really bad. And whenever cable started dropping the ball, Netflix came in and all these individual people trying to compete with Netflix. So I think the start comes with improving cable, and if we can all just agree to have the things we like on cable, then we don't have to pay for individual services or things like that.
Reasons for cutting the cord can be different, but the goal is the same, to save money and watch what we really want to watch. But will this last? Can companies expect people to pay a fee for every service and subscription? In San Francisco, I'm Milo Simpson-Bint for your Urban Nights Update.
According to FinancesOnline.com, the average streamer spends 1.6 hours a day streaming online.
The time has come. Olivia Jade is trying to make a comeback. When the college scandal erupted, Jade lost all she was working for, working as a Sephora ambassador, having a personal Princess Polly brand, and of course YouTube. Her mother and actress Lori Loughlin is still trying to deny the college admission scandal. Olivia made her first appearance on YouTube this Sunday, posting her first video since the controversy. Now we wait and we'll see what will come next in not only the college scandal, but as well as in Olivia's life.
On the topic of entertainment, we have our very own Brooklyn Moreira with recent updates of new film releases.
Thank you, Milo. I have some of the most recent trailers of the newest movies that came out or coming out. Let's take a look. I Know Where You Were on November 27th. Queen and Slim came out and it was a big hit. Everyone wondered, did he actually kill a cop?
What if God wanted me to die and I messed up his plan?
I don't think that's what he wanted.
Hey! Is this y'all? We have to go, now.
It's all over the news.
I support what y'all doing. It was self-defense. Power to the people.
187, 2 young suspects.
Yeah, we're in the Black Bonnie and Clyde. How you gonna outrun the police?
We hide in plain sight.
You like this?
I don't know yet.
Don't worry, you're safe here.
It's an honor to meet y'all. Y'all really gave us something to believe in. I'm tired of playing it safe. I want to ride or die. As long as my lady remembers me fondly, that's all I need.
Thank you for this journey, no matter how it ends.
If you haven't yet, go grab some popcorn and watch it because it is not going to be in theaters much longer. Are we surprised? Another Star Wars movie is coming out. December 20th, Star Wars: The Rise of Sky will be in theaters. The final battle commences. Who will win? This past weekend, the cross-country ballooning fair happened and designated the Hot Festival to the movie. If you were unable to go, don't worry, because you can see why in theaters on December 6th.
We're about to get wet.
Is this balloon not the strongest it's ever been?
Even so, it can't fight the weather.
Oh, God!
I have a feeling they're not coming back. We're traveling into an unknown.
Stay alive.
All the time we have today, make sure to go check out all those movies. I'm Brooke Moreira, back to you.
Thank you, Brooklyn. Our next feature is part entertainment and all culinary. For all of you who love cooking shows, join Galen Manhart as he shows us how to make a favorite dish college style.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to College Cooking. So today we're going to be making chili. Chili is great for this cold weather we've been having. And so to add a little spice to the mix, we're going to go with some peppers. We got 2 jalapenos, 2 serranos, an Anaheim pepper, and a poblano. And we're going to be gutting them with those seeds because those seeds add a little too much spice for me and my family. And so we're going to just take those out, make it a little easier to eat. Once you got the insides all scooped out, we're going to be finely dicing them, so cutting them into strips and then cutting them acrosswise, making them nice little cubes, making it a little more easy and manageable to eat. Now me personally, I love the flavor that peppers and chilies bring to the dish, so I added a couple extra than I should have, but that's just me personally. So once you have all those peppers chopped and diced and put away, we're going to go on to some onions. I got a whole large yellow sweet onion I'm going to be dicing up finely and putting aside in a bowl. That's going to cook with our meat and give that meat a lot of extra flavor before it goes into the crock pot for the final cooking stage. Now for the meat today, I went with a 75-15% ratio, so that's 75% meat to 15% fat. Give that extra fat cap a nice flavor. But as you can see, it's a little more fat I gotta drain off right there. Then you add the onions, some garlic, and then those peppers that we chopped up, and that's all gonna come together. Now as that cooks, we're gonna add some chili powder, smoked paprika, dried oregano, ground cumin, and salt and pepper in the back. Now once that meat's all cooked, we're gonna add that to our crock pot. And next, on top of that crock pot, once it sits there for a second, we're going to add 2.5 cups of beef stock. I mean, you can use veggie stock, chicken stock, turkey stock, whatever you want, but I like beef stock. Now after you add that beef stock, you're going to come behind that with some red kidney beans that have been rinsed and drained, and some black kidney beans that have also been rinsed and drained, about a can each. Once you got those beans added, we're going to add a can of crushed tomatoes and a can of petite diced tomatoes, as well as that spice mixture we made earlier. And then also any extra peppers that you wanted to add that you didn't want to add in earlier and overpower that beef flavor. Now while that's all mixed up, you're going to then put the crock pot either on high for 5 to 6 hours or on low for 8 hours. And while that cooks, we're going to make some garlic bread for it. First, we got to butter our sourdough toast, then come behind that with some Parmesan cheese, some garlic powder, a little bit of Italian seasoning, and finally you hit that with some paprika. Now I like this. This is a recipe my dad taught me. It's something that I grew up just absolutely enjoying. And then you're going to put that in the broiler on high for just a couple minutes to get that nice golden brown. And then I like to chop it up into little triangles for everyone to make it a little bit easier to eat. And as you can see, people can't wait to touch it. Look at my dad try to put his hand in there and just, no, get out of here with that. Once those are all chopped up and that chili is done, it's time to plate. I'm going to put it in a small bowl with just a little bit of cheddar cheese and that toast on the side. This has been College Cooking. I'm Galen Manhart. Back to you.
Galen's chili recipe looks mighty good and fairly easy to make too. I may have to give it a try.
Me too, even though chili is not exactly my thing. I prefer goulash.
Before we go, we want to thank you for joining us here at Academy of Art University's Urban Nights Update. I'm Milo Simpson-Bint.
And I'm Picaro Reinhold. We'll be taking a holiday break, so this is our last show of the year. Join us in 2020, and in the meantime, have a great holiday season.